In Africa, where traditional knowledge, cultural expressions, and innovative solutions are abundant, the protection of intellectual property is increasingly being recognized as essential. It not only safeguards the rights of creators and inventors, but also promotes a conducive environment for innovation, creativity, and economic growth. Speaking to GBS News today during the RCMRD International Conference in Nairobi, Thandikile Mvundula, the elected Vice President of the Africa Space Council for the governing body of the African Space Agency, notes that with informed legislations, Africa stands to retain its young tech talents rather than being poached by first world countries. Here are the details.
Scientists often produce valuable research that could inform policy decisions, but their findings are not always communicated in a way that is accessible or easily understood to decision makers. On the other hand, policymakers may not fully understand the complexities of scientific data or may prioritize short-term political goals over long-term sustainability. This disconnect has led to a situation where policy decisions are sometimes made without a solid foundation in scientific evidence, resulting in ineffective or even counterproductive outcomes. Speaking to GBS News today during the RCMRD International Conference, Thandikile Mvundula and a pioneer science and tech expert from Malawi issued a call to action which can lead to informed policy making.
Because the ones that know the science are the experts here. They're the ones that understand the science. They understand the science, they understand what it is capable of doing. Okay. Now, it's the onus is on them, or us scientists, to interpret that, to demystify it, to make it easy for them to for legislation, because we're not going to make policymakers scientists, and that's not our job to do, and it's not their job to be scientists, but they must appreciate what the science is capable of doing for them or for the country, and that is important. So this is where I was talking about bridging the gap between the science itself and the scientific knowledge and the policymakers.
However, in the recent past, Africa has been a victim of brain drain, with top science and tech talents getting poached by first world countries. It is a phenomenon that Thandikile faults poor legislations in the continent, which are yet to be improved to create safe spaces.
When I talk about issues to do with intellectual property, that's something that is very important for us, particularly as a Malawi Space Agency, because we actually have a young space entrepreneur. He's innovating and developing components for space, and inevitably you've had some of the foreign Western governments have expressed interest. Now he's already getting offers to say, come here. Now this is not the young people going across in boats, this is now the top of the chain in terms of the brightest who are innovating, and we need to be able to provide spaces that will encourage them to stay, protect their intellectual property, enable them to earn money from patents. And that means that our legislation, again, it comes back to policy. Our legislation has to protect their patents to enable them to monetize their innovation. Now, if we as African government don't set up that space, it opens the door for them to either be poached or leave. And those patents now no longer are Malawian patents or Kenyan patents, they're American patents or British patents. We need to protect Africa's intellectual property.
The future of the African continent depends on its ability to harness the power of its young scientists and ensure that their work translates into real-world solutions. Hilary Kabila, GBS News, Nairobi.